kindness is often seen as a virtue, an unassailable good. But what if the relentless pursuit of kindness is not just draining but fundamentally flawed? Imagine a world where silence is not indifference, but a profound act of wisdom. This is the realm of the awakened mind, where kindness is not blind, but conscious, where every word is a choice, not a compulsion. This is the dark side of kindness, an exploration of why sometimes saying nothing is the kindest thing of all. Consider the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who taught that true kindness begins with understanding, not just action. What if the most compassionate act is to withhold judgment, to listen more than we speak? This is not about apathy, but about the profound power of silence. As we delve deeper, we'll uncover how this shift in perspective can transform not just our relationships, but our very sense of self. After all, in a world that equates kindness with constant activity, the truly kind person might just be the one who dares to be still. In the bustling marketplace of life, a quiet ghost drifts unnoticed among the throngs of loud, desperate people. This ghost, an awakened mind, moves through the world with a soft, almost imperceptible presence, contrasting sharply with the clamor and chaos of those around them. The marketplace is filled with people who wield kindness like a shield, their voices ringing out with praises and compliments, their actions performed with exaggerated generosity. They are the life of the party, the ones who always have a kind word or a helping hand, but their kindness is not what it seems. It's a performance, a validation of their fragile egos, a way to fill the emptiness within. They are like the ancient Greek actors, wearing masks of kindness to hide their true selves. The quiet ghost watches, observes, and understands. They have learned the truth about kindness, how it can be a tool for manipulation, a way to gain favor, to control, to mask ulterior motives. The ghost has seen kindness used as a weapon, a way to make others feel indebted, to create a sense of obligation. They have witnessed the insincerity, the performative nature of kindness, and they have chosen silence over such hypocrisy. The ghost remembers the psychological concept of emotional labor, a term coined by sociologist Arlie Hochschild, which refers to the effort required to manage one's emotions to fulfill the expectations of others. The ghost has seen people exhaust themselves with emotional labor, wearing a mask of kindness, only to return home drained and empty. The ghost's silence is not a weakness, but a strength. It is a form of resistance, a refusal to participate in the charade. The ghost's silence is a choice, a conscious decision to conserve their energy, to protect their authenticity. The ghost's silence is also a form of observation. In the quiet spaces, the ghost can hear the truth, the unspoken words, the genuine emotions. The ghost's silence is a form of wisdom, understanding that not all kindness is genuine, and not all cruelty is intentional. The ghost's silence is a shield, protecting them from the noise, the chaos, the insincerity. The ghost's silence is a beacon, a call to others who are tired of the performance, the game, the constant expectation to be kind. The ghost's silence is a promise to be genuine, to be authentic, to be real. The ghost's silence is a lesson that kindness is not always what it seems, and that silence can be a powerful form of truth. The seekers of praise are a common sight in our society. They are the ones who volunteer at every event, who are always the first to offer help, and who seem to have an endless supply of kindness. But beneath this facade of benevolence lies a complex psychological mechanism known as the hedonic treadmill. This concept, introduced by psychologists Brickman and Campbell, describes a phenomenon where people continually seek more and more to achieve a certain level of happiness, but once achieved, they quickly return to their baseline level of happiness. In other words, they're stuck in a loop, constantly chasing the good feelings that come with being seen as kind and helpful. These seekers of praise are driven by an insatiable need for validation. Their actions are not purely altruistic, they are performative, a show put on for an audience. They need the applause, the praise, the recognition. It's not just about feeling good, it's about feeling seen. This need for external validation can be linked to the psychological concept of self-determination theory, which posits that people have innate psychological needs for competence, autonomy, and relatedness. For the seekers of praise, their sense of competence and relatedness is dependent on the approval of others. The viewer, on the other hand, has transcended this need. They have awakened to the illusion of the saintly identity. They understand that true kindness does not seek praise or recognition. In fact, it often eschews it. The viewer is not driven by the need to be seen as kind, they are driven by a deeper, more authentic sense of compassion. They are like the highly sensitive person, HSP, a concept introduced by psychologist Elaine Aron. HSPs are often misunderstood as being overly emotional or shy, but in reality, they possess a greater depth of processing. They feel more intensely, think more deeply, and are more empathetic. Their sensitivity is not a weakness, it is a strength. The viewer's silence is not a sign of indifference or apathy. It is a conscious choice, a refusal to engage in the performative kindness of the seekers of praise. They understand that true kindness is not about being seen, it is about being present. It is about the quiet, unnoticed acts of compassion that make a real difference. The viewer's silence is a testament to their awakened mind, their understanding of the illusion of the saintly identity. They are not trapped in the loop of the hedonic treadmill, they have transcended it. Their kindness is not performative, it is authentic. And in this authenticity, they find a sense of peace and fulfillment that the seekers of praise can only dream of. In the symphony of social interactions, there's a silent observer, a detached participant who refuses to play the kindness game. This isn't mere apathy, it's a conscious choice, a shift in perspective known as radical presence. It's seeing the room, the people, the situation for what it truly is, unfiltered by the illusion of good that kindness often imposes. This is not the cold, unfeeling detachment of a sociopath, but the calculated neutrality of someone who has chosen to disengage from the performance of niceties. They are like the impartial observer in jealousy theory, a concept explored by philosopher René Girard, who suggests that mimetic desire and mediation are key to understanding human behavior. This observer doesn't mimic the expected social scripts but sees them for what they are, a complex dance of unspoken rules and expectations. Consider a crowded room at a party. Most people are laughing, chatting, their faces lit up with forced smiles. They're playing the game, exchanging pleasantries, pretending to care about each other's lives. But the radically present individual stands apart, not joining in the charade. They're not judging, not criticizing, they're simply observing. They see the tension beneath the smiles, the awkward silences disguised as laughter. They notice the person in the corner, the one who's not playing the game either, the one who's truly alone. This is not a weakness, but a strength, a form of emotional intelligence that psychologist Daniel Goleman might call empathy with eyes wide open. This radical presence is not about rejection or isolation. It's about seeing the truth in a world that often prefers illusion. It's about choosing silence over empty words, authenticity over performance. It's a form of boundary setting, a way of conserving energy that psychologist Susan Cain, in her exploration of introversion, might argue is a necessary act of self-preservation. The radically present individual is not lazy or indifferent. They're simply choosing to engage with the world on their own terms, refusing to be drawn into the kindness game that so many others play. They're the only ones seeing the room for what it actually is. And in doing so, they're freeing themselves from the illusion of good, choosing instead the reality of radical presence. The nameless one moves through life unburdened by the invisible chains of social expectations. This isn't mere indifference, it's a conscious choice, a rejection of what philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche termed the morality of custom. The nameless one understands that every kind act, every helping hand, often comes with an unspoken debt. They've witnessed friends become lenders, kindness turning into a ledger of favors. So, they opt out. Their silence isn't coldness, but a shield against the exhausting cycle of reciprocity. It's not that they don't care, they care deeply, but not at the cost of their inner peace. They've read the work of psychologist Erich Fromm, who distinguished between brotherly love and unproductive love, the latter being a transactional exchange masked as kindness. The nameless one chooses the former, even if it means being misunderstood. In a world obsessed with personal branding, the nameless one is a ghost. They leave no digital footprint, no trail of likes or shares. They don't curate their image, don't perform for an audience. This isn't shyness, it's a form of radical honesty, a refusal to play the game of reputation management. They've seen how others tie themselves in knots trying to maintain a perfect image, how they lash out when that image is threatened. The nameless one feels no such pressure. They've embraced the concept of negative capability, coined by poet John Keats, the ability to exist in uncertainties, mysteries, and doubts without seeking immediate resolution. Without a reputation to defend, they're free to change, to grow, to evolve without fear of contradiction. The nameless one also experiences a unique form of freedom in social interactions. They don't feel the need to fill silences with small talk or to force laughs at jokes they don't find funny. They're not driven by the fear of missing out, FOMO, a phenomenon studied by psychologist Dan Ariely, which often leads people to engage in activities they don't enjoy. Instead, they're guided by a deep sense of self-awareness and authenticity. They understand that every social interaction is a negotiation of sorts, a give and take that can leave one feeling drained. By choosing silence over small talk, they conserve their energy for what truly matters to them. They're not lazy, they're strategic. They're not rude, they're honest. They're not antisocial, they're selectively social. This freedom, this peace, is the power of having no social debt to pay. It's the quiet strength of the nameless one. In the quiet corners of the mind, where introspection blooms, there lies a profound understanding. Kindness, though often extolled, can sometimes be a cloak for conformity, a mask for authenticity. This realization is not a rejection of compassion but a recognition of its complexities. It is here that the awakened mind begins to understand the illusion of good and the necessity of silence. Consider the concept of toxic positivity, a phenomenon where the relentless pursuit of positivity can lead to the dismissal or invalidation of genuine emotions. It's not just about being cheerful, it's about suppressing discomfort, fear, or anger to maintain a facade of kindness. This is a shadow of the good, a distortion that the awakened mind learns to navigate. Carl Jung, the renowned psychologist, spoke of the shadow self, the unconscious aspect of the personality which the conscious ego doesn't identify in itself. Embracing this shadow is not an invitation to malice but an acknowledgement of the full spectrum of human emotions and experiences. The refusal to be nice is not a rejection of humanity but an embrace of self-sovereignty. It is the understanding that authenticity is more valuable than artificial kindness. This refusal is a boundary, a line drawn in the sand, a declaration of self-respect. It is the ultimate act of self-care, a defense mechanism that conserves energy and preserves mental well-being. Sensory processing sensitivity, a term coined by psychologist Elaine Aron, describes individuals who process information deeply and are more susceptible to emotional and physical stimuli. For these individuals, the refusal to engage in forced kindness is not a flaw but a survival strategy, a way to protect their sensitive nervous systems. In the words of Friedrich Nietzsche, one must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star. The refusal to be nice is the chaos that birthed the dancing star of self-sovereignty. It is the ultimate gift to oneself, a testament to the power of authenticity. It is the understanding that kindness, though valuable, is not the ultimate virtue. It is the realization that silence, when used wisely, can be a powerful tool for self-preservation and personal growth. In the quiet corners of the mind, the awakened individual finds solace, strength, and an unshakable sense of self. Kindness isn't always the virtue it's made out to be. It can be a mask for people-pleasing, a tool for manipulation, or even a source of personal distress. The awakened mind understands this, choosing instead the power of silence, the strength of boundaries, and the wisdom of discernment. This isn't coldness or indifference, but a deeper, more profound form of compassion, one that respects both self and others. Remember, as the philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer once said, tact is the art of making a point without making an enemy. Sometimes, the kindest thing we can do is to say nothing at all. But how do we navigate these complex social landscapes? How do we find our voice when we need to speak up, and the silence when we need to step back? In our next exploration, we'll delve into the art of assertive communication. We'll learn how to express our needs and desires without aggression or manipulation, how to set boundaries that respect ourselves and others, and how to find the delicate balance between silence and speech. We'll look at the concept of radical candor, pioneered by Kim Scott, and explore how it can transform our relationships and our lives. But for now, we leave you with this thought: kindness is a choice, not a commandment. It's a tool, not a rule. And like any tool, it should be used with wisdom, with purpose, and with an understanding of its potential consequences. So, the next time you're faced with a situation that demands kindness, ask yourself, is this truly kind? Or is it just the easy way out? The answer might surprise you.